Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and gender neutral of all ages. I am Rugai-san, and I will do a spoiler-free review of Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, before we dive into it, I'm going to talk a little bit about the three trailers that came out, well, before the movie. Excuse me. The first one is the Justice League one. There was nothing new about it. It was the same trailer as it was shown in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You're not missing much. The second trailer happens to be Thor Ragnarok. It's more of a teaser, really. But after I watched it, I was like, holy crap, let this come out at least next month. I want to see it. Sadly, we're going to have to wait until November. The final trailer was Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Let's put it this way. I enjoy Star Wars. I'm not one of those, like, super Star Wars fans where they have to get, like, everything Star Wars. Like, lightsabers, model kits, little collectible figures, etc., etc. After I watched the trailer for Episode 8, the only thing that went through my mind was it's probably going to be a tie for, best of this new trilogy with Episode 9. By like a small margin. Like really a very small margin. So anyways, for those of you going to wait until its official release of July 7th of this year, which honestly, nothing wrong with that. But for many, like myself, went to go see the early showing. From beginning to end, I was practically glued to my seat. The movie was just near perfection. Tom Holland reprises his role as Peter Parker, Spider-Man, from his brief cameo in Civil War. And he did an amazing job. Like, more so than Maguire in Sam Raimi's trilogy and Garfield in his two amazing ones. Robert Downey Jr. is back again as, Tony Stark, Iron Man. Gwyneth Paltrow, though briefly she was in it, as Pepper Potts. Jon Favreau is back as a part-time character. He reprises his role as Happy. We all remember Happy. Marissa Tomei also reprises her role as Aunt May. I'm going to take a moment and say, holy crap, she still looks amazing at her age. She really does. Though not a physical appearance per se, Chris Evans is in the movie I can't say what, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who has not seen the movie yet. Some new faces in Homecoming, which is the first under the Marvel Extended Universe franchise. Michael Keaton is Adrian Toomes, the Vulture. He was just amazing. It was one of those performances where it's like, holy crap, why didn't they do this sooner? It was a new villain for Spider Man to take on. I mean, let's face it, like, he took on the Lizard, Green Goblin, the Sandman, Venom. Actually, like 3 different Green Goblins. But we don't want to. Some of us don't want to relive that headache. You really don't. So the Vulture is a new villain in the movie franchise. As is the Shocker. For what he plays, again, can't say. A couple of brief appearances by Tyne Daly. She plays an agent. For those of you who don't know Tyne Daly, back in the was it like late 70s, give or take, she was on a show called Cagney and Lacey. For a more recent-ish series, she was in an episode of Burn Notice that was on USA. If you want to really get into deeper, her brother is Tim Daly. I know I'm going a bit off here, but Tim Daly voiced Superman in the animated series. He was on the show Wings, and currently you can see him in the CBS series Madam Secretary. There was hints that Donald Glover was going to be in the movie, and he is. Donald Glover is in the movie. So with enough of the cast, excuse me, with enough of the cast, let's just go ahead and get into the movie. I will admit, I did went in with some expectations. Usually I don't, like, completely neutral, where I just judge by the movie itself. But of everything I have seen about it, like trailer wise, who was all in it, I could not help but have a little bit of expectation going into it. After the movie was over, holy crap, I was impressed. There's a theme to Homecoming, and it involves 2 previous Marvel movie titles. I can't say what, but when you watch it for yourselves, you'll understand which 2. Let's see what else. The only bad thing I really had to say about this movie, they still failed to utilize it. It's the quips. It's the only thing that's missing in this movie. it's one of, Spider-Man's greatest strength. When he's taking on bad guys, he uses quips to keep your opponent. He uses the quips to keep his enemies, whether it's like low-level thugs or supervillains, like it gets them riled up. It was used once in Maguire's trilogy when he was taking on Bonesaw in the wrestling ring, and for Garfield's take, it was when he was stopped a carjacker. That was it. Those were the only quips in that entire movie franchise. It was missing in Homecoming. Everything else about that movie was practically spot on for what it was worth. There was like a love interest or two, um, like secret identities being exposed on both, you know, the good and the bad. Um, it did not have the web glands in, Raimi's trilogy, but it was a variant of Garfield's web shooters. But it was still freaking amazing. The suit from Civil War does come back in Homecoming. It also has extras. Again, if you want to know, you can go watch the movie. Or you can find somebody who's just going to flat out spoil the movie for everyone in hopes that they would talk about it. But honestly, I would recommend when you go see the movie for yourselves, with no spoilers being, well, spoiled, you might be blown away. The music choices in this movie, for me, it had some nostalgic reasons because I grew up mostly in the 80s and the 90s. Um, Same for those that were born in the late 80s, going into the 90s. But it would be a special treat for those living, or for people today that have never heard of some of these songs, would actually love it. Or hate it. Depends on their taste. But I enjoyed the music choices. I really did. As usual, like most of the other Marvel movies, there was some hilarious moments. I mean, we're not talking like subtle, funny. We're talking like straight up hilarious. Again, you had your serious moments. The action sequences in that movie was phenomenal. Of course, as usual, there's hints about sequels and, another team up with the Avengers, which, again, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're gonna cram as much heroes in it as possible. That's under the extended universe. Like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, etc., etc., etc. I was actually highly satisfied with this movie. and I would love to watch it like as many times as needed. Or I can just wait till it comes out on like DVD or Blu-ray. Like within 3 months to December. Taking into consideration everything I have said before, I would give Spider Man Homecoming a solid 9.5 out of 10. I would. It's not because, I'm thinking like I'm like a huge Marvel fan. It's like I'm looking at this from a review's point of view, like I would, like any critic would. Like they go see the movie, they're judging it based on, like special effects, the acting, the execution, like everything. Like they're critiquing it as they're watching it. Like they're seeing the movie with, like from every aspect: director, producer, actor, stunt coordinator, like everything, and not just the film itself. That's why you see, like, most of these movies are getting bad reviews, not because they're hating it, it's because they're judging it from every possible angle. Well, not angle, sorry. From every aspect of the movie. And how well it would execute as a whole. And not just, you know, this movie, it did not live up to like my expectations. It gets this. So it's a fair warning to anybody else. So with that said, I'm gonna do it. Thank you everybody for watching or taking the time to listen. Like and subscribe this channel. And as always, well, for my gamers, game hard but game for fun. But for my movie goers, watch well. So that's pretty much it. Thank you.